Welcome back to another edition of Career Compass, a conclave towards choosing careers. The career choices we make today decide our course of life. The goal, the purpose, the need to launch Career Compass is to help and direct students and parents in identifying the right careers through the eyes of experts from various fields. Marine engineering. Welcome to the adventurous world of seamen. There is a famous adage, the best men go to the seas. Dear viewers, let me introduce our precious guest for today, Mr. Ranjit Joseph, who has done his BSc in Nautical Science. Master Ranjit has completed his schooling at St. Mary's Higher Secondary School, Armenian Street, Chennai, after which he went on to study Nautical Science in Mumbai from a private academy run by a premier shipping company, the Great Eastern Shipping Company Limited. Soon, he qualified himself as a sailing officer for India, so was graduating periodically in various promotional competency exams conducted by the Government of India. After requisite sea time, he attained the highest rank, the highest competency, and that is the captain. Presently, he is a senior lecturer in various nautical subjects at HIMT, Hindustan Institute of Maritime Training here in Chennai, which is a private institute approved by the Director General of Shipping, Government of India. Wishing you a great day here with us, sir.
Dear viewers, good day and welcome to Career Guidance for Don Bosco in the series Career Compass, and today we are doing on the subject which is the Merchant Navy. And a career at sea in the Merchant Navy requires basic training at one of the maritime training institutes under the ambit of Indian Maritime University after completing +2. Which is presently being conducted either in the state board format or the CBSE format as per Indian schooling system. And we have engineers and deck officers who are in this career, and they require for entry level into this program with a minimum of 60% marks in maths, physics and chemistry. Not to forget, English is the basic medium of instruction. A career at sea is quite interesting because you learn about international rules and regulations of the transportation of goods by sea act and various other acts which are in place, and you get to see various working conditions and various countries as well. So I would call it transport tourism in short. And yes, definitely on leave, which is a vacation if you want to call it, you get sufficient time to catch up on family and social needs as well. The interesting part of this career is that you are responsible for the vessel, which is the technical name for a ship, and the cargo which is entrusted to you. The responsibilities and accountability virtues are imbibed at a very young age into our officers and crew who operate these ships. And about the industry, a short word about how it takes shape from an organization called the IMO, International Maritime Organization, which is the governing body of our industry, which is responsible for 98% or if not more of world sea transportation, which is the cheapest form and one of the safest forms of bulk transportation of goods. And a career at sea is very professional, which requires a good level of competence and which is tested at various levels by exams after completion of sufficient sea time. Sea time, I mean to say, is that you have to be on board to account for your experience, and which is endorsed in something of a booklet or a certified booklet called a CDC, which is Continuous Discharge Certificate. And it requires you to stay away from the family for short durations or intervals of let me say 3 months to 6 months, depending on your ability to hold out in these conditions as per the ILO, International Labour Organization requirement of formats. Now we come to the flow chart of a hierarchical operational departments on board a vessel or a ship, and we have two main departments, one headed by the chief officer and the engineering department, which is headed by the chief engineer. And under these two heads of departments, we have various officers assigned to carry out different tasks under different conditions and also in different times of the day, in either shifts or depending on the task required in port or at sea. So the chief officer is in charge of the deck department. He reports whole and solely to the captain. Similarly, the chief engineer, who is head of the engineering department, also does the same by reporting to the captain. And the captain is the only person who is the owner's representative, and they are in charge of the communication and communication equipment, and plus additional duties of paperwork and accounting. Next, we come on to the chief officer, who has got a few people working under him. The primary man being the second officer, who is in charge of the navigational charts and the routing. The third officer, who is also in charge of not only helping the second officer but also with firefighting and life-saving appliances. And we have a fourth officer who assists both of them, plus the captain, in carrying out all the functions overall. Below them they have an apprentice whom we call the deck cadet. So he is kind of a trainee who has got to complete a 1-year sea time, or he has to log in 1 year sea time after completing his BSc Nautical Science from one of the maritime training institutes. Together with the chief officer's department, the deck department, we have also a deck fitter and 5 crew members. They are called seamen, who would do various tasks like carrying out operational maintenance on board the ship, plus docking, undocking and various other small functions, which is the important part of shipboard operations. Additionally, we have the chief cook, and the chief cook is the man who is responsible for preparing your catering gastronomics for the 3 meals or 4 meals, should we call it, on board our vessel at least. We have only 2 cooks, or normally 1 cook nowadays. Next we come on to the chief engineer, who heads his department. He's got the second engineer, who is normally in charge of the main engines, plus the third engineer who is in charge of the boilers, fourth engineer who is in charge of the auxiliary engines as well as purifiers, etc., compressors, cooling plants and various other equipment. Below them they have the engine cadet, who is also an apprentice, who would be joining the ship only after completing his BE Marine Engineering, which is a 4-year course, and followed by 1 year sea time on board the vessel. To assist the chief engineer in electrical tasks, we have the electrical officer, and additionally we have 2 other people also, 2 other departments there. One is the engine fitter, who looks after all the small mechanics and repairs and all other things that could avail his assistance or skill based assistance to assist any one of the engineer officers or the electrical officer. And together with them they have 3 crew members to carry out any other operational tasks like watch keeping, additional tasks of maintenance which can be carried out by this crew. So this gives you the overall picture of how an entire cargo ship would operate with a minimum manning with the number of people that you see, headed by the captain, who's got the overall responsibility of running the ship and keeping his officers safe at all times. The qualifications or studies which are required to get into this career are courses offered by various maritime training institutes through the IMU, BSc Nautical Science and BE Marine Engineering. So, one course would finally take you up to the rank of captain, and the engineering course would take you to the rank of becoming a chief engineer. Information about this subject and brochures got from the website, which is highlighted over here, and Indian Maritime University is the organization which puts it out twice a year to make it available to students who would be pursuing this career. A screenshot of the IMU website is as shown here. You can avail information from, and the most important one being the affiliated institutes, the number of campuses that are available, the examinations or the process of examinations, admissions, which time of the year, students corner, alumni portal, events, bulletin, and also where to contact and how to contact them to pursue this lucrative career. Colleges and universities which are affiliated to the central government under the IMU or Indian Maritime University are mentioned in their website. Also, we have private institutions and foreign institutions operating as well. So, it is up to the students to decide where they would like to get their initial training as well as their graduation from. Colleges and institutions require in-house training for students as boarders compulsorily, for the fact that these recruits must familiarize themselves with shipboard stay. Hindustan Institute of Maritime Training, of which I am a part of, is one of the leading institutions which is located in Chennai. As an example, I have been with them for about the last 20 years, and some of the notable institutions approved by DG Shipping are available in the website under the Maritime Training Institutions list. Now we come to the specialization part of it. After your basic degree, should I say, or requirement, BSc or BTech, which a student might stream into, there are other fields which they can venture into with either a diploma or a degree. Most of them are diplomates which are easily available. 2-year programs or 1-year program are marine logistics, chartering and broking, naval architecture, maritime law, pilotage, marine insurance, or as a lecturer or professor in one of the nautical colleges, to name a few. The stipends and salary part of it, or remuneration as we call it, at various ranks in this career are commensurate with the industry standards, and salary starts with a stipend of somewhere between $700 or $800 as an apprentice or as a cadet, and goes all the way to $8,000 plus for a captain or a chief engineer. May vary from company to company and as per various standards for the type of ships that they sail on as well. Competency. Training for deck officers or engineers require a certain minimum standard and also fitness put in place by ILO through IMO. And deck officers would be in charge of navigation and cargo, that is their task. And as an engineer, you would be in charge of machinery, main engine, and other operational requirements. You would have to take periodical exams after a stipulated sailing time for promotion to higher ranks, which we call certificate of competency. You graduate in your certificate of competency from a cadet upwards, either to become a captain or a chief engineer. And it is conducted by the Director General of Shipping, India. So we have Director General of Shipping offices called mercantile marine departments in various states, and they are also available in the websites. If you type DG Shipping, www.dgshipping.com, you would straight away get all the different offices where they are located, and you could probably get a lot of answers from them as well.
Welcome back, sir.
Good day, sir.
We are really happy and fortunate to have you, and really appreciate the amount of knowledge and experience that you have shared for the cause of boys for their own careers. There is always a seasickness, the dangers of oil and chemical careers, as well as the attacks by pirates. We also speak about medical emergencies Now, how do you see these things, and how exactly we overcome these difficulties?
Good question, sir. And this doubt probably is there in the minds of parents who send their children out into this career. Seasickness is probably the initial part of our venture into the apprenticeship, but with time I think a few days they would acclimatize themselves to this condition. Today we have something called as radio medical advice. Additionally, you have a first aider on board who is normally the second officer, but definitely the senior officers would be there to stand by you. And the third most important part is that we have helivac facilities as well as other ships in the vicinity which can give you assistance. So not to mention that we have also diversion at our behest. In case should the event be serious, we can divert to a port of refuge and take care of the medical emergency, whatever the case may be. The third part of your question I would answer is yes,
the dangers of oil and chemical.
The dangers of oil and chemical.
And pirates attack and things.
Yes, pirate attack is probably an old known fact, and today has been handled very well by this industry. We have armed guards and we have organizations where we have to report, and convoys do take care of our vessels, and in case somebody gets attacked, they would come to their rescue. And these are military based organizations of different countries which come together and form an organization to protect merchant vessels which are operating in the flag states or the countries of their territory. Coming to oil and gas and chemical, we have mastered the art of handling these cargoes, and there are very good procedures and practices in place that we don't come in contact with them. Very rarely does somebody come directly in contact with that and get affected, but even for those conditions we do have mechanisms to correct and put them back in order.
Thank you, sir. I think that's giving a lot of ray of hope for people. Of course, you already spoke about the role of women, and now you can elucidate on it, and you can even say something more about your adventure, and you can finally wind up about in a few lines about marine engineering, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. This has been a new foray for women into this profession, and they have taken up to it very well, and you can see it from the picture in the background that one of the ships which belong to our government, which is the Shipping Corporation of India, called MT Swarna Krishna, on International Women's Day, which was celebrated, if I am not wrong, on the 6th of March 2021, was commanded by a woman, and she held all women officers to assist her. So this is kudos to our institutions as well as the shipping company and the maritime training institutes as well as the IMU. They have pushed to the next level. And to tell everybody, I think this profession probably has got done good for anyone rather than bad, I would say, and that's the bottom line. Thank you very much, sir, for this interview, and may many more people do well in this field. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So we really appreciate the positivity in you, the joy and ease of doing things. Thank you very much, dear sir, for giving your valuable time. It was indeed a pleasure having you, sir. Dear viewers, hope this session was useful. Do join us for another edition of Career Compass, coming soon.